Hello, welcome to the Everton Daily Extra. Myself and Steve here to chat through this subject. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, scorer of Everton's goal of the season, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's an issue with it, isn't there? And the issue is he's got 13 months left on a deal. Obviously, Everton's financial position at the minute isn't amazing. But I do think the only reason why this hasn't been concluded must be down, in my opinion, to Dom weighing up his options. What are your feelings on him? He's 27, isn't he? Just turned 27. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's obviously it's his last big deal, probably really now, isn't it? Like if you're talking, like from what I think there's rumours that he was on nearly like 100 at Everton.
Grand, yeah.
Obviously after his last deal that he signed, and it's a big one for I suppose him and his family as well, because obviously he's just had a newborn child and all that type of stuff, and his missus is she's from abroad, but obviously he might want the London lifestyle maybe, and that's why clubs like maybe like West Ham and Arsenal have been mentioned. But it's a tough one from Everton as well, because also we're struggling financially at the moment, and have the club, I don't know if the club have offered them a new deal. There's not really been any stories that they've offered him one, and makes you think, are they waiting for players to leave to offer him one? And what would he want as well? Will he be looking for what he's on? Can the club justify giving him what he's on currently now from what he's for the last 2 years, I suppose? They're
not gonna. I wouldn't imagine he's going to take a pay cut to stay, though.
Well, that's what I mean. That's a tough one.
And nor should he, really.
No. Everton have been very loyal over the last 2 years to him with the injuries and helped them through.
We offered him a contract, though, didn't we? He was under contract.
No, yeah. It's just, I just think, but there's also no loyalty in football no more either.
No.
So even if you touch the badge and all that garbage, you could leave the week after. Do you know what I mean? It's a ruthless industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
well, where do you lie on it? If all things equal, and Everton can afford to keep him, which I believe they can. What would you do with it? Because obviously, 13 months ago, where's your head at? Because if we say we got, I think 20 million is all right, but I think we could probably get more. He's a centre forward who's finished the season with 7 goals and scoring goals. No, that's not great, but he finished the season strongly. I think he's got over seems to have got over his injury, but he's played a lot of games this season. He's only 27, just coming into his prime. So therefore, 25 million. Who would Everton replace him with? I know there's Betty. There's Beto there and Chimiti are there.
You don't want to be no offence to both of them, but
one's too young, the other one's still raw, and there's rumours that his agent's trying to get him a move back to Italy. So we can't let everything go out the door, can we?
No, it's from my point of view. I think if he's willing to stay at Everton, but he's also willing to wait maybe a month for money to come through the door from Everton's side of it.
Yeah, but just say Everton have got the money. Everton have got the money to offer. Would you be trying to get him to stay, or is your head?
It's hard though, because it depends it depends on the recruitment side, because depends what Sean Dyche's budget is. Has he got a budget? Do you know what I mean? It's we can't really go into the season with Beto and Chimiti. It'd be irresponsible from the club's point of view. So it all depends whether if Sean Dyche is going to get that money back for Dominic Calvert-Lewin even. But the reality is, say you get 20 million for him. The reality is the club might be able to, that might be like a 5 million down payment for the player maybe. I don't know, something like that. And the rest goes back to debt or paying stadium, whatever. And also, it's hard to find a good striker, mate. You know yourself.
Well, Adebayo's been mentioned. If Everton was to sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Luton are relegated and they're looking to get some money in. I think I've seen 15 million mentioned. I'm not sure, but he's a similar 26, so not a young.
But is he even? And no offence to that, but is he even in the same league as Dominic?
No, but this is what I'm saying to you. So these are the things, aren't they? I mean, I'm all for going and looking. I wanted Everton to get Boniface last year when we had the opportunity to get him, and I know he wasn't great last night when he come on, but he's done all right this season. He's done very well last year. Gift Orban was another one who didn't get his move to Spurs and has been a little bit, but they're gambles. But the younger players, do we go and look for one in Europe then and take a gamble? It's just such a tricky one, isn't it? Because there's no sure things around, is there? Because like there's rumours Callum Wilson's leaving Newcastle. He's 32.
He'd be on good money as well.
He's on good money and he's injury prone.
Yeah.
So where do Everton?
That's when you're probably talking like, I'm not saying this just because of who our manager is, but you're probably then looking at you like the lad from Luton. Maybe the likes of Chris Wood, players like that.
But a Forest he got 12, got 14 goals. Did you
say he's out of contract? Or he's coming out of contract?
He's got a year, hasn't he?
Left. So
14 goals he got for Forest.
They got that lad, haven't he? He was having a good season until he got injured.
Yeah,
he was playing really well. Actually, he got about 13 goals, I think, and he got injured. But I think if the money's there, Everton will offer him a new deal. And I think... will he stay, though? I don't know. It's what he wants now at the point of his career as well.
It, yeah.
Like, does he want to play? He hasn't played Europe. Did he play Europa League for Everton? But obviously we were out by about November, so it doesn't matter really.
It's a great chance at home against Limassol. That shoots him headed it straight at the keeper at the street end. If he'd have headed it in the corner, we'd have won the game and might have got out the group. Dom. But no, listen, I want him to stay because I think it's very... right now...
It's hard, isn't it?
Right now, because there's so many uncertainties, and you just touched on it there, budget and all that, it's difficult. If Everton had a pot of money, I'd be like, right, let's try and reshape the team. We know what we've got. Let's have a look at this striker or that striker, try and get them in. If Beto was a bit more of a sure thing, as in, we know he's staying, then you start going, okay, well, could we sell Dom, use Beto, and get someone between Chimiti and Beto? So that becomes it.
Yeah, it is really hard, because even if you look at like best team in the country, it took them... Well, Guardiola played with 2 years without a striker. Do you know what I mean? And he had to wait to get the one he wanted.
But they had everybody else who could score goals.
But I know. But even if you look at look at the likes of Arsenal, people during the season was saying Arsenal need a striker, desperately need a striker, desperately.
91 goals.
Even the likes of your clubs, like look at Man United, like they're relying on a 21-year-old to lead the line for them. You look at Liverpool, they haven't got a top striker. They got Darwin Núñez, who's not been very good for them as of yet. It's a tough position to fill, and you're looking at teams like Tottenham this season. They're looking at rumours like Solanke and Tony, players like that, and then, but it is really tough from an Everton's point of view, where you've got 3 strikers, 2 of them really haven't done much yet, and then you've got one who had half a good season in Dom, because like let's be honest, there was during his bad run there was calls for him to be taken out of the team, and like people weren't really bothered if he'd left at one point. So, but obviously the Derby goals, and it changes everything, doesn't it? As an Everton striker and an Everton number 9, it's such a big thing for an Everton number 9 to score a Derby goal. So, but also he was very good the last probably 2 months of the season, Dom, like his overall play.
He definitely was.
But it just depends on the club's financial position, doesn't it really, mate? If 20 million comes in, can the club refuse it? Like there's rumours that the club needs to sell before the 30th, stuff like that. And if no one comes in for Onana before then, you're like, we have to sell him. No choice.
Just looking at Orban there, we went eventually, Spurs, but Everton were linked with him last summer.
Spurs nearly got him.
And he moved in January to Lyon for €12 million.
How many goals did he get?
He wasn't great for Lyon. He's ended the season.
Next season.
He's ended the season with 3 and 16 for Lyon.
Yeah, that's a good.
But he'd had 3 and 17, but was sub for Ghent a lot. But his career goals are 54 in 92, he's only 21. Can play.
He gives him a platform for
next season. Can play anywhere across the front 3, but I'm saying €12 million.
No, yeah.
Spurs, it was 20 million quid and all that. And this is the problem, isn't it? But you do have to look. It's a gamble, isn't it? And I think.
I suppose it's just what it's down to. Like I suppose it's the recruitment team come in. It's like if we are going to, Sean Dyche should be saying, okay, if you're going to sell him, who are you going to give me?
Seriously?
That's what Dyche has got to really like. And the club, like for me, like someone made a good point there before on a WhatsApp group that I'm on. That will Newcastle just wait and hold off until, like, if Calvert-Lewin says no, I don't want to sign a new deal, and the offers don't come in for him straight away. But can Newcastle just carry on waiting and then just say, there we go, there's 15 million, or he leaves on a free? Do you know what I mean? It's like it really depends on the player, doesn't it?
Then leaving on a free means we've got him for another year. Me and Ped talked about this the other day. The only reason why I don't see that happening, if I'm being perfectly honest, right, is
do you not think Everton will allow it to?
I don't even think Everton allow it to happen there. You can see Dominic Calvert-Lewin Ped footage at Arsenal at the weekend. They're taking his shirt off, clapping. Ped, the body language expert.
My missus would love that photo of him.
I think a lot of people enjoy it. Is he going to sit on a contract for another year and then go, oh, I'll move free when I'm 28? His options, people move on. So Newcastle...
He could have a bad season, couldn't he?
He could have a season where he doesn't do anything. He could have a season where if Newcastle were hanging on, then all of a sudden Newcastle get someone in January and go, actually, we're buying him. We don't need Calvert-Lewin now, or whatever. So I do think it's a risky play. I think when you're 22, 23, it's a different thing, but he's 27. He was 27 in March. He's our number 9. He likes being Everton's number 9. But like you just said there, he's at that stage of his career. It probably is his last big contract, and someone like Newcastle probably offer him it.
He's in control, really, isn't he? From an Everton point of view. The club aren't even in, like, the club can't even control this situation, really. It's down to the player. And I'm sure if the player wants to stay, Everton will give him a new deal. But if the player... I know he's just changed agents as well. So I don't know if that type of stuff plays into like the agents and the player. I don't know.
Who knows?
Because you know yourself, like it's time like where players in the past have wanted to stay and then they changed agents and then 2 weeks later they're gone. Do you know what I mean? You
just don't know, do you? Everything is up in the air because we're in such a tricky situation at the moment because we don't know what's happening with them. We'll come on to all of the other stuff in a minute. I was just looking at someone I've mentioned a few times this season. I think I mentioned them last pre-season as well. Karen Konati, who was plays in Austria.
Yesterday, actually,
he's ended up with 20 goals this season in 29 games.
Who was he? He was linked with someone. I seen him linked with someone yesterday.
So that's Salzburg. But he's a good young player.
Ashley Barnes is out of contract though, Baz.
Oh, there you go then. There you go. But he's only 20, Konati, but he's someone Everton should be all over.
He's a good player.
Potential.
Yeah.
And they're the ones you're looking at, but the problem is that would require us to sell Dom, go and buy someone like him, but he's a we just have to see how he does kind of player, and can we afford a see how he does kind of player. Like I said, if Beto is definitely staying, then all of a sudden he becomes the senior striker.
Yeah, he will do, yeah.
There's age and everything he has to be, and the framework, and then you're going, right, we've got Chimiti, we've got Konati, we're both late. We'd have to get Konati first, but if we were, and then you'd be saying, them two are just wait and sees. Can Everton afford wait and sees? And this is the problem, is when you've mentioned the top clubs before, going, they could have done the striker, and they could have done the striker. They got goals elsewhere. Arsenal. I still think if they'd have had a number 9, proper number 9, they might have run City a bit closer. But it's really difficult to say that with a straight face almost, because they scored 90 odd goals anyway. So you're going, well, yeah. I mean, City have done it to take games away from teams and all of that. Maybe if Liverpool had one, but then Darwin Núñez, he only ended up with 7 Premier League goals, but I think he got 17 overall or something like that. If Everton had a player that scored 17 goals, we'd all be made up, wouldn't we? But this is it. I mean, your midfield players, Adrissa Gay scored more than both of our wide, all three of our wide players. You know, Harrison got 3, McNeil got 3, Dan Juma got 1. Well, the Premier League, by the way. Dobbin got 1.
It's funny, innit? Because after crowd would tell Garner not to shoot after time, they end up scoring 4 huge goals.
Well, the Forest goal was massive.
Yeah.
It was massive, and he hit it from the edge
Obviously,
of the box, didn't he? And then obviously Brentford
goal,
was a great goal, wasn't it? And that's when you're looking, and he ended up taking free kicks at Arsenal on the last day.
I know.
Just for the hell of it. So that's where we are. It's really, really tricky, isn't it? And I mean, Ped, to bring you in, because your camera is on. I think everyone knows you're an admirer, as we are, of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But what is there anything Everton can do right now? Or is it, like Steve just said, just going to have to sit on their hands and wait to see how other things play out? Because I think this will boost, I don't know, I mean, we'll have I'll look at some of the comments in a minute, because people might be saying different. But before I go to Ped, would it give you a boost as an Evertonian if Everton announced Dominic Calvert-Lewin signed in his 4-year deal? Or are you just a bit like, I'm really other thing? Do you know what I mean? Did it give you a boost when Garner was staying? Adrissa Gay?
Yeah.
Right, so how would you feel if Everton announced today that Dominic Calvert-Lewin signed a new contract with the club? Would you just go, that's good? Or would you be like, yes, I'm glad?
I don't know, because I've always been like very hit and miss on Dom. I've never been like... I've never been as big on him as maybe others have been on him. But then I also like speak to like Ped, Andy and people like that, and they go, find me someone better then. And you're like, yeah, I know what you mean. For a club like us at the moment, it's hard. So then you think of stuff like that and you're like, yeah, we probably do have to keep him. I think it'd give a boost for the fan base that you've been able to keep a player of his quality, I suppose. But yeah, again, for me, it all depends. Yeah, what the recruitment side of it and how we go, and if we are allowed to do if we're allowed to do much.
Well, I mean, you've got to fully trust the recruitment team. I mean, we didn't sign Garassi, but we chose Mopai, so evidence is there. You know, fella went on strike for 3 days.
Yeah, well, he's got a release clause on his 17 million, Garassi.
He's got another 2 last week, didn't he? Ped, moving on to Dom. But where are you with it all? And do Everton need to almost give them an arbitrary date? Or do we just have to wait and see what plays out with everything else over the next 6 weeks?
Isn't it? It's been in plates. Does an offer come in for Brantwaite? Does an offer come in for Onana first? I think simply it comes down to contract, doesn't it? If he doesn't sign a contract, they never have to sell him, I think.
By when though? Have you got like that? I mean,
I don't know, because I don't know what the actual.
You can't really no point in doing a full pre-season with him, is it? If they're not going to.
It has to be quick. It has to be done with. You know, you have to put ultimatums in place. Games, don't you? Yeah, it's a difficult one. I obviously don't want to sell him because I don't think there are many players better out there that Everton could get. I think he's proved that last few weeks.
I think when you've got a bigger budget, I think you can be more picky.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think Everton could go, we can get better than Dominic Calvert. Debatable, but Everton could think we can get, because there's lads in Europe who are banging goals and we think they can do this, or whoever. It could be someone in the Championship, or it could be some, there isn't. No. But you know what I mean? Or it could be someone like that. Dyche could look and go, Adebayo will give us more than what Dom does because we'll do this, this and this. But I just think the predicament Everton are in makes those conversations really difficult, doesn't it? Because we're saying give him an ultra, get him tied down. But like you said, this might all just be in Dominic Calvert-Lewin's. Well, it is, ultimately, isn't it? Or it might not be in his hands and he might be like, I want to stay. And Everton are like, Dom, we can't offer you a new deal at the moment because we're waiting on this to drop or this to drop or whatever. And
you look at Brentford finished a place above us, didn't he?
No, below.
Below us. Well, they've got a striker coming in already for this summer. So
Thiago, is it?
Igor.
Oh,
I can't remember, Igor something, but Igor Thiago.
Yeah.
And so basically, that's if Tony leaves,
they done that in January.
That's what I mean. It's a player ready in it to go, and like really, but their obviously situation is a lot different than ours. Obviously, a club which are obviously trying to get sold. I think the bloke's trying to sell it,
Trying
isn't
to
he?
sell it now,
Yeah. So, but he's still investing in the club. Unlike ours. But there's the difference, I suppose, isn't it? And obviously they're not building a new stadium, which obviously does. But it's hard to Everton in such a hard position due to the stuff off the pitch again. Really
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, it is just so difficult. Simple as.
What would you do with him, Calvert-Lewin? Do you give him a date? Like, would you give him a date, or would you just wait until he's ready, or would you just if an offer comes in of say 20 million, would you sell him?
I honestly think, I want him to stay because I just think for all of those other reasons that we've talked about, I think he's such a focal point for us, and I think if you give him better service, he'd score. Listen, is he perfect? No, his one-on-one finishing's not great.
No.
But he's a really good target man for us. I think the way this manager wants to play is ideal. But this cannot just drag on. How can you plan, really, for next season around the centre forward that might not be here? That's what it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult.
You probably have to give him, I think, the next 2 weeks. Because the window opens in 2 weeks, is it?
14th. 14th, yeah.
Is it 3 weeks? 3 weeks, I think you have to give him until then.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
say, if you haven't signed, because then the mad thing is, mate, you're a month away from the players coming back again.
Less than a month away.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Everton will need, obviously we'll need to decide on players who'll have to leave as well before, if this 30th of June thing is correct as well. Because we don't want another season of points deductions, do we? Because of failed PSR.
No.
Like,
where are you? Where are you with the whole club? Like where it's at? Because obviously, you know, congratulations by the way on the award.
Yeah,
the 1878,
yeah,
brilliant, and that momentum.
A lot more people done more than me, but it was obviously good to.
No, but everyone's
good to help, and it was some people like the work some people have put in there, like till 1, 2 in the morning doing stuff. Like obviously I know Katie and people like that, and like it's crazy the amount of like stuff that goes into it with the stuff before the game, like the flags and all that type of stuff, and it's all volunteer work. It's not like anyone's getting paid for it either. So yeah, everyone massive effort, and it was good to be part of it and good to try and help as much as possible, because we've seen some of the games what it was like last season. It was great seeing the Gladys Street and the way it was, and the Liverpool game, and even like the Brentford game, and even with all the obviously with the points deduction stuff and all that, it's like it's not cheap either. It's like when you see the amount of money it costs for flags and cards and stuff like that. So it is really good, and I know they're trying to get stuff ready for next season already, and I know obviously they're trying to get as much money again through the door, because it is hard and it does cost money. So I know they've put something up today about like donations to help towards next season, also towards the new ground as well, because if you look at, I think what we want when we go to Bramley-Moore is we want it to look like it is the best stadium in the country, don't we? We don't want it to be like...
I think what's really important, said this yesterday, like the momentum that they built up towards the end of the season, it's key that, and it will for this season, because the final season at Goodison Park, but then it's key that momentum's taken into the new stadium, and that is the culture right from the word go. Yeah, where you're trying to this is almost the most difficult bit, trying to instill a culture into Goodison Park, which hasn't been there. Yeah. Once we get to the new stadium and that culture continues,
it's also a lot hard. People don't realise it is quite hard, Goodison, as well, because of the posts, the way it is, the exits, and like the stuff that you can't even have flags over the exit because it's health and safety and stuff like that. So I think that's why you look at like just an example, Newcastle, when the new ownership come in at Newcastle, the whole culture of the club changed. Like the flags, every week they do something now, don't they? And their fans have really bought into it. And
we have to, don't we?
And I think that's important, I suppose, when new ownership does come in, that is to work with groups like that, because like, yeah, you've worked at Everton, you know, it's like me, it's you've got to work. The fans are the most important people.
Without a shadow, and it amazes me that the football club shied away from that. It was the people at the top who were terrified, and that strips down to everybody in there. There's people in there now that are still terrified of the fan base, and instead of realising and embracing it and realising it's the best thing about our football club is the fan base. Listen, there's the cranks in our fan base, 100% there is, but there is everywhere. So you just have to accept that. You're not going to be, as a football club, you're not going to be loved all the time, because it's an emotional game. It's emotions, people's emotions, and no one, you know. But if Everton, and I think this is massive for the new owners, and we'll get onto that now as well, just to get your take on it. When they come in, they have to figure out, whoever it is, very quickly, how to unite this fan base, and as much as you can. Right? And this is to everyone. Stop being wankers to each other on social media. Stop point scoring. Stop bitching, cry arsing. Come together, because the occasions when we have come together as a fan base, big things have happened.
Yeah, look at
there's
the United
too
game,
many.
Like the United game.
Well, that's it. Look, I'm thinking even back to like when Lampard was here and things like that. We saw the power of that. People have got to, without going on a bloody rant, people have got to be nicer to each other. If you disagree with someone's opinion, just disagree with it. Don't slag them off, because there's fractures when people seeing this with the 1878. They're trying to do things, and other people are having a go at them. It's like, they're Evertonians just trying to make Everton better. Why are you having a go? Like, for what reason? What are you doing? Instead of sitting behind a bleeding egg on X or some black username or whatever, what are you doing to make the football club better? If you've got nothing, if you don't like something,
just don't do it.
Just don't say anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stay away from it.
Exactly.
Mute people. Just ignore it. Block people if you don't like things coming up on your feed. But when people are trying to unite something and do things positively, let them get on with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Unless you've got a better idea that'll do it, then stand up, put your head above the parapet and be counted. Stop being knobheads to each other, because society is going a scary way, and being dickheads to each other is being encouraged, and it shouldn't. It should be the other way. It should be discouraged. So if you don't like something, move on from it. Keep your mouth shut and get on with it, unless it's something bad that needs highlighting. But where the football club is, what the new owners have to do is somehow embrace that fan base. Get them involved as quick as they can and try to move forward.
Don't we sometimes talk about the fan base being fractured when it's not really fractured, though?
Sorry, it's not fractured.
Why are you trying to fracture the fan base?
Shut up.
Is this because they don't think your goal of the season is everyone else's goal of the season?
See, this is a perfect. If I couldn't see Ped, I'd think he was a bot put there to disrupt people.
No, I do.
You've got to embrace the fans, because the club has been, let's be honest, the club has been terrified of the fan base for ages, and therefore they won't do things in case it, like 87% of the fan base might love an idea the club have got, but they go 5% won't like it and the others will abstain from liking, so we're not doing it. And it's like, you've got to do it, set the culture, and let the 1878 set the culture into the new stadium and into this ownership. And this ownership, whoever it may be, I think has to really get that fan base on board immediately, because then we will spend more money with the club to create more money. We will want to be around Everton new stadium at midday when there's kick-off at 3 o'clock. We won't be going, no, we'll get, like me, I'll get there at 2:58. You know, you see me coming in, don't you, at 2:58. It's like,
I'm not far behind you.
No, but that's it. But imagine being at the new stadium and you're going, I want to spend, if you've got that money, I want to spend an extra tenner a year, because that'll go in the club's pocket, or I want to, because then we can get Karim Konati from bloody, you know,
that fan park needs to be like the most, I think it's the most important thing at the new stadium.
The thing about it in the Echo today, isn't it, again, reiterating something I hadn't even thought of, which there's an article about it today saying every single person who goes into that ground has to go through that fan park.
Yeah.
Like some I hadn't even thought of. Every single person. Whereas like now, obviously, people may never even look at the fan zone at Goodison, even though it's so small. But every single person has to pass through it into the stadium and out of the stadium, and that's really powerful.
Because if you look at like, I always like notice Man City's and how busy they're like round their ground is on a match day.
And they're making theirs even more. They're putting an undercover thing, aren't they?
There's also something they do. I'm speaking to someone about it the other day. They do something for kids on match day where there's a football where you go and play, like, you know, like the pits. Like that, obviously not far from Goodison. Like some stuff like that where you go to, where you say to drop your kids off and you can go and have a pint with your mates.
Yeah, but
and
that's
the kids
just
go and play
cruelty.
footy.
I mean, that sounds...
No, but it's brilliant.
I get that.
Good.
No,
I think that's brilliant.
I think there will be stuff. I do think there will be stuff like that. In fact, when we went to New Camp, like they had that robo goalie. Everton should do something like that. Yeah. You pay like. But I believe it is going to be cut into like different areas, isn't it? There are going to be like different zones within it. Yeah. Seen a thing last night about which I thought was really interesting about, was it Atalanta saying that every newborn baby they send a new shirt to. Everton should be doing stuff like that.
That's amazing.
No, but I think going back to your original point, I think the 1878s should be given, whether people like it or not. And I know a lot of people won't like it, but behind that goal, they should be the Everton and the 1878. See, I think there has to be. I think the 1878s, it has to evolve into something bigger. Because, like you said, it's 12 people or something, and more, and people, you know, influencers on the outside. You know, I'm sure a lot of things that get fed into that group will come from outside, and you know. Yeah. People will ask, you know, you'll ask people in the group we're in if they've got any ideas, and all gets fed back, and I'm sure you pass them off as your own. To get
well done, Steve.
No, but I think that group has to evolve into something which becomes almost like an official group.
Like when you went to Dortmund.
When we went to Dortmund, no, but when we went to like both grounds in Germany, in Dusseldorf, they had the ultras, or whatever you want to call them, had their own store within the ground where they're selling stuff, stickers, t-shirts, scarves, that all fed into paying that, and into paying for that things. And I think that has to become a group on its own right, where, you know, you see a lot of these official groups and they have places on the fab and things like that. I think that should be, and therefore if they are an official group as part of that, then they can work with the club. And I think that standing area behind the goal in South Stand is going to be really important. It's
going to be key.
And I believe that, personally, for me, I think if you're going to be in there, then there has to be a responsibility to be in there, and not just be someone who sits, you know, not sit down, not someone who just stands and watches the game. You have to be part of, and I don't mean you're going to have a bull on and shout your stuff, but I think you have to be part of something, and I think there has to be a way of looking at it and a lot of people won't like this because they go, oh, I just want to go and watch the match. Well, you just want to go and watch the match. Maybe that isn't the place for you. I think you have to be part of that thing, and whether stuff gets handed over as responsibility and a self-governance in there, that you're going to create the atmosphere and be part of those tifos or the flags or whatever it is. It all comes with that. And whether you have to be a member of the 1878, I don't know, but there has to be some kind of responsibility, doesn't it? Because I think for many of the years, and we've had this discussion loads of times about atmosphere and things like that, the Gladys Street is just the cheapest place to go. And because there hasn't been I think used to, like, people used to evolve, didn't they? You know, Baz knows this firsthand. You go in the Gladys Street and then you have kids and then you move to another area of the ground. But I think a lot of people haven't been able to move to other places of the ground because of the way the prices have been. So I think this has got to be a starting point where if you are behind the goal, it's not because it's the cheapest place to go, it's because of what that evokes, because that does create the atmosphere and you are part of something. And the 1878 should be a bigger thing. It shouldn't be down to 12 people to do all that stuff. It should be a bigger set of fans that are responsible, and the club, after in many ways hand that responsibility over to them, but not worry about the issues that creates of, like, well, I want to be on the South Stand. Well, we understand that, but it can't be left to a few people to generate that kind of atmosphere. And of course, what we want it to be more than just the South Stand. We want this to be like you just said, because there are opportunities all around the ground, because it's a ground where you can create brilliant things all the way around it because there are no obstructions and there is nothing in the way.
Yeah.
That should fall into the 1878. I believe personally, and I'm not sure other people believe this, I think there should be people who are on the 1878 who should be paid by the football club, who should be employed by the football club as SLOs. I think that's where the SLOs should come from. Not maybe people who work for the club. I think the SLO should come from the people who work who were part of the 1878. I think at least 2 of the 1878 should be full-time members of staff at Everton. Because this is something else we saw in Germany.
Or even part-time.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it difficult though, because that part-time makes it difficult because if you've got a full-time job and also a part-time job, I mean, I think it should be a full-time job. I think those SLOs who work for the football club, there should be more jobs created that are part of the 1878, and their responsibility should be as a member of the 1878, not as a member of the football club.
Yeah.
And this is another thing we see in other countries, is that they take it more seriously, and I think that's how it should evolve as we go into the ground, and should look at you know, again, we met up with the SLO in Germany, and he was like, the fans weren't happy last night about the atmosphere, and we thought it was the best atmosphere we'd ever had. And they weren't happy. They're just not happy with other parts of the ground as well. They think there's too much responsibility on the yellow wall to create an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think that's all really important. And when people speak from the football club, and we know this firsthand, they speak from the football club's point of view all the time. You need someone who can speak from the fans' point of football and actually have a say, because they're part of the bigger thing. So it can evolve massively. And I think the people who are on there now should obviously, those people should be able to do it, because like you said there, you're adding loads of time. You're staying up till whatever time it is to look at all these things, and then you got to get up the next morning and go to your own job. I think there should be people there who go, well, I can stay up till 1 or 2 because actually this is my job.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Interesting, isn't it? So far on the poll, 69% say keep Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can. Comments here. Chris Wood is out of contract at Nottingham Forest.
Is he?
He's on 80 grand a week.
Nailed on, mate.
He's 32 out of contract, so maybe Everton would trade Dom in and have Chris Wood. Who knows?
I wouldn't like that personally. But
Well, it's a downgrade, but Chris Wood did get 14, 15 goals in all competitions. So
it's crazy because you look at bloody Mathew, who Everton were linked with like last January. Was a great ending, didn't he? Just shows when it's a certain manager, though, innit?
You've got to play to your strengths, Everton.
Because you used to always like Mathew, didn't you? When
he was all right in Germany, yeah. And then he come in and you look at him and go...
Because I remember watching him at Goodison thinking, I can't believe he's a footballer.
Oh, he was terrible. When we beat them 3-0, he was embarrassing.
Yeah.
He was embarrassing.
I couldn't believe he's a footballer.
But he finished the season really well. But in Germany, rather, he wasn't like that.
No.
Big ratings in France for him. They were like, he's going to do big things.
Really, yeah.
Watched him in Germany, scored a few goals, looked decent. And then when Palace got him, I was like...
They got him on like a 2-year loan,
what has happened there?
Yeah.
Scored that back heel at Brighton to win them the game. Remember?
Yeah.
Cross come in, he back heeled it, and they were like, he'll kick on now. And then when he comes to Goodison, he just looks like a big cart horse. But finished the season really well, and just shows you if you get service in. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you get him the right service, he'll score goals. Definitely. Chris Wood, quite clearly, get balls into the box, like Gibbs White's done for him. He's put the ball in the net. It's not the ideal thing, of course. No. We all want strikers who are mobile and can create goals on their own, but we'll have to just wait and see. Steve P says, of course, we should sell him. We have no choice. Need to give him a date. Well, it's an ultimatum, really. Not saying sell him. If you give him a date to sign. If he doesn't, then we've got to work on getting him out. We can't let players walk out the door for nothing. Gomez was the last one. Yeah, Gomez has to be the last one, doesn't it? He leaves the club for nothing.
Him and Delhi, innit?
If we sold Calvert-Lewin and signed Adebayo and Chris Wood on a free, that'd be good business. 24 league goals between the two of them this season, more of all of our attackers combined.
Would that not tell you, though, that the manager's got control then?
Yeah, maybe.
No, I'm not trying. That's not.
No, but like Steve, listen,
that's no offence to Sean Dyche either.
Steve goes on about young players. He's feeling. He says, obviously, it's not what I'd want. But right now, the way the club is, we need guaranteed goals, and then obviously Timothy. You've got Timothy as well, haven't you? Whether you loan him out. Liam says it's vital to keep Dominic Calvert-Lewin. What would we get? 12 million euros? No, double that, mate. At the same time, I'm not sure there's a market for him. Yeah, but he's just played 30-odd games this season,
Yeah,
Liam. So
A marker through.
Calvert-Lewin.
because of his
West
injury
Ham,
record.
Newcastle.
West Ham, Newcastle won him.
Other clubs would probably market him properly as well.
We'll have to see. Duckdo says we should definitely keep him whatever way we can. Deitch has been talking about him setting his sights on an England caller, and I'd imagine it's more likely if he sticks with a system he knows. Maybe, yeah. Kev Murphy says, afternoon lads, cracking documentary you guys did. Good to see the channel start from where it was to where you are now. Ned put that together, so
Yeah, congratulations. It was good.
well done, Ned. Thanks, Steve. Colin Taylor says, hello all from a Bulgarian sunny beach.
Nice.
That's right. From yesterday, phoning best moment for Toffee TV has to be Ped's player rating against the Copites. It was that good. I stayed up with them all night, then watched the replay. Absolutely great listening. Great anniversary. Cheers, mate. Grant says, I don't want us to sell him, but getting some money in for him is better than letting him go for nothing.
Yeah.
Dom is very important for us, says John. It really comes down to will he sign a new contract and his valuation. If we can get more than 20 million for him, if we can't get more than 20 million for him, I'd just keep him and let his contract run on. Is he worth letting walk out the door for nothing if he stays for another season and scores 10, 12 goals? That's what you're playing, aren't you? You're playing that jeopardy. Get the money in now, get him off the wage bill, or keep him and risk him going for nothing in 12 months, but he scores 10 goals and keeps Everton in the Premier League.
No, it's a tough one. It is a real tough one, I think.
Jez says, afternoon lads, absolutely belting video for your 10th anniversary. Thing is, I'd love to know at what point did you, or even have you thought, yeah, this is the real deal, we can make this work forever. The caveat, the club not collapsing. No, we just give it a go, mate, and said, can we do it for 12 months and see where it goes? Both took pay cuts, obviously massive pay cuts to do it. And luckily everyone got behind it, so it's still working now. If the club collapses, obviously we'll all be
just reminisce.
Be Uber.
We'll reminisce.
We'll just do.
Kane wants to know why his favourite moments from Toffee TV isn't in the documentary.
What was it? Oh, you Megan.
The double nutmeg.
The double nutmeg.
Yeah.
Well, why do you think?
There's a few moments, I think,
There's
that
a
which
few
could have been.
moments there's a few moments.
Director's cut maybe needed, isn't it?
No,
There needs a compilation next week.
He's playing at Goodison today, isn't he?
No, Kane is.
Just said,
Kane
put yourself
playing,
in the shop window.
Mathew says, afternoon lads, hope you both well. Get the feeling Arsenal trying to get him smoked out. Can't see Dom wanting to go that far north. Rom on loan, if Dom leaves, push it down the road and be in a better position.
On 35 million, Chelsea, they reckon, for him.
Still?
Make him the manager.
Roma can't afford him.
No.
Well, they might now, actually, because he could be in the Champions League.
Mark says, sell Dom and play McNeil in a false nine. We tried that against Chelsea. Lampard tried that. It was terrible. Steve P says, Baz, look up Kevin Denke. Yeah, no, Big Kev. 28 goals. He got 23 of them in the league. 23 years of age. From Bruges. Cercle Bruges. Another powerful. I think he's Togolese. Something like that. Big, strong striker. They're there.
Kane wants Chris Wood.
Fair play.
Kane's all over Chris Wood, isn't he?
Jonathan says Dom needs to stay and Beto needs to be sold. Then get Bruyette or Fofana on loan for the season.
Yeah, see, I'll be honest, I would sell Beto.
Yeah, but who's going to buy him?
Just say to you, he's yours back, we don't pay you nothing.
You've still got the shirts.
Honestly,
Do you need extra size shirts?
not against that. He tries his best, but I just don't think he's good enough.
Okay. Jay says we have no choice but to sell rather than have him leave for nothing. We're not a charity anymore.
If Dom signs a new deal, though, would you say you probably have to sell Beto?
Why?
Because Beto's a year younger than Dom, and the reality is you can't have a £30 million striker on the bench every week if he's not going to play. Who's on good wages, probably.
We had them last season and didn't.
I'm just thinking of, like, wouldn't you be better cashing in and bringing in a younger
You've got to
player?
have someone. Someone's got to want to buy him first.
No, yeah, so I mean, wouldn't you be better though cashing in on him and bringing in a younger player? I mean, and
Don't
having,
know, because what would they do with Chimitty? Because then you're blocking Chimitty.
like, a player of like, I don't know, 21, 22,
No, I know,
and then maybe loan Chimitty out.
But hasn't the manager shown that he doesn't really want Beto though?
That's what I mean. Yeah,
Risky though, isn't it?
yeah. I think if Dom stays, you probably have to look at moving better on. That's my
Dunno.
yeah.
Lewis says I'd sell Dom 7 goals this year, most were penalties as well. He scored 2 pens, didn't he?
Dom, one wasn't it? Was it one?
He scored at Newcastle,
2.
1 at
Oh,
Luton.
2, yeah.
So 5 goals weren't pens, so most of his goals weren't pens, mate. Yeah. Jay says, Mr. Lives, yes, he wants to wish you all the very well-deserved, all the best on a very well-deserved 10th anniversary. Like Lot said yesterday, channels are a massive part of people's lives now and almost a thing of comfort. I found the channel by accident during lockdown of 2020 on YouTube. I noticed a big wild ginger-haired man ranting about Everton, which made me laugh. Then it became my thing to look forward to every day. Cheers, Jay. Tyler, no, haven't heard anything about the Fabs meeting with Mashiri, even
Meant to be this week.
if they've even had it. Who knows?
Hello, Jim.
James says I was the box at the game. It
was good, yeah.
1878.
Yeah, it was very good. Good fun.
Kev says if Dom doesn't sign a new deal, I think we should sell him. The problem is it's the replacement, really, isn't it? That's the issue. It's knowing what's what, and
Yeah.
you know that again. It's 68% want to keep him.
Can't have it afford to give him the money he's on as well.
Eugene says Newcastle are lining up a bid to sign him. Michael says it's all about the service he gets. Feed him and he'll score. Someone come back with he's not the yak. Joe says Newcastle want him. Apparently, yeah. A few saying Dom needs to stay. Craig said straight swap with Isaac. Michael James wants the Luton striker at the bio. Alex says he'd be a really good replacement, but depends on the price. Michael says we're not going to sell Dom and bring in a 20-goal a season striker.
No, but no, I probably agree with that.
Chris Wood contract up. You saying that? Yeah.
Here we are.
Someone mentioned Danny Welbeck.
He's just signed a new deal with Brighton. I do like Danny Welbeck, actually.
Justin says, why don't we repurpose Michael Keane as a forward?
What was the best moment of the season when he come on up front against Brentford? I was made up, mate.
He's done it before, though. Came on
And
against,
he didn't
come on
touch the
against
ball,
Luton.
but it was good.
At home, when we were 3-1 down, he put him up front, and he literally didn't touch the ball. He had Beto up there and everything. And
It was just funny watching him run around in the 6-yard box up front.
you want him to have the ball edge of the box, don't you? Because that's when he can crack
Yeah,
it.
you know what? I don't think people realise how good that Tottenham goal was.
That was a belter of a goal. And it's at Wolves when he squared.
His training goals are good as well.
Yeah, he's a good finisher, isn't he? He was a striker, wasn't he?
Maybe
Hey,
it's
man,
maybe it's
brother,
Will. Maybe it's really Will that we've got.
Who knows? Hizzy says he'd go for Brayton Diaz.
No,
Not for me.
can't swap a double barrel for another double barrel.
He's too slow, anyway. Scarp Up Game says Idrissa Guy's slide tackle into the goal was goal of the season at Palace. Ray would like to see Chimitty involved a lot more next year. The lad's clearly got a lot of talent, especially with the ball of his feet. Maybe a few games in the Decore role.
He's got a good touch, hasn't he? I think you can see that.
Good awareness.
Yeah.
Good awareness. Ian says I'd only sell Dom if he refuses to sign a new contract. Long term, selling Dom is the right decision, but we will miss his quality. Solis wants Alexander Soroth.
Isn't he like? Is he like? Is he?
Villarreal.
Is he
Got 4 against Madrid the other day. The
Is
top
he?
scorer in La Liga.
Is he?
23 goals. Or,
Is he the one who was at
no,
Palace?
Yeah, he didn't score a goal. It's
Yeah, I
terrible.
remember
But
it.
he's had a great season.
Because he went to Leipzig as well, didn't he?
Massive, big lad. But yeah, Where are we? Use Keane as a forward. Nope. Chimitty and Keane up front. People saying, imagine it. We'd get 6 points all season. Centre forward is such a key position.
Imagine start the season.
El tells us Simon Jordan's just said 115 City charges will be whittled down to 5.
Probably right,
because
like,
most of them are a joke.
isn't like some of them like how long the grass is, stuff like that.
The colour of the grass.
Yeah, it's like the boardings, the boards at the side,
boards
the wrong size.
With the wrong size and neighbour. But obviously, if they're all agreements, they're gonna pull everything out, aren't they?
I think they'll just get a massive fine, mate.
Ian W says, first I remember about the channel, all the moaning that Ped did. Then I realised everything he moaned about was spot on. I've listened ever since.
It's not moaning if you're right.
It's been passionate.
Just calculated discussion.
It's been passionate, isn't it? Mr. Perfector Kelly says it's my birthday today. Well, happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. But yeah.
I just like a lot of like those, like the memes that have come out for Ped, like the Southampton game. Remember? We are going.
It looks like Vaseline on the camera. I just like Baz's dancing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that didn't make the cut.
5 years ago, that. No, 4 years ago. It's good that
It was
people
on it,
keep
yeah.
it, though. It's good. It's good because people are obsessed by keeping it. I love
Keep
that.
the Moise Keane dream alive.
Yeah. Oh, big money.
The other one of me
Can we
is
get him back?
The other one of me is the one that
Where is he?
when I'm going, Everton. He will put that on.
Juve?
Didn't he go on loan in January
He's
somewhere?
back. He just, no, because played in the Italian, won the Italian Cup last week.
Did he play?
Big
Yeah.
money, another trophy for him.
Motter's just
Has he gone?
just
Motter?
joined. Yeah. My
Talk
man.
about him in a minute. Right.
On the Euros, any Moise Keane.
Is he?
I'm sure he's in the advert for the new kit.
He's amazing. The greatest striker ever to walk the earth.
Just don't let him have house parties.
Best. Yeah. Don't let him hang out.
House parties.
Viper X Mars says you reckon Evan Ferguson would be a good fit. Evan Ferguson would be tremendous, but Brighton are not letting him go. He just had the season where he burst onto the scene. Then last season he's had the season at a young centre forward.
I think if McKenna
which is
goes
hit
in
and
there,
miss.
he'll get a grip of him as
But
well. I
he'll
reckon.
get hold of him and that'll
More
be it.
likely to re-sign Duncan Ferguson than Evan Ferguson.
I agree with that as well.
Mark Mack says keep Dom and Harrison on loan, or sell Dom, buy a better winger and play better. It's not really. You're just really offering scenarios there, aren't you?
You know.
Myers says agree with Ped. The South Stand is designed to be a towering, steep, hostile stand. This needs to be our focal point and everything. Do everything we can to harness the incredible features into the best stand in the UK. A singing section is definitely needed, in my opinion, to keep the atmosphere consistent with the games that are less important, attractive, etc. Burnley and Norwich, you know. No disrespect. Neither of them are in the Premier League and may not be next time, but I get your point. Steve says, I want Bradford Park Avenue's number 9 from 21 to replace Dom. I do.
Yeah.
Kane says, remember Baz throwing the ball because of Martinez on a final word.
Yeah, absolutely fuming.
Well, what was the other one you did where you did like a scissor kick?
That was when we
it's
beat
a-
Liverpool.
yeah.
I just done the scissor kick off the cushion. Kane says, best Toffee TV moment, Ned getting tethered by Ped in the car park, getting megged twice. Or when Ned wanted to groom Roberto De
Look
Zerbi.
at how that turned out.
De Zerbi's left now.
He's left because of Ned.
Or Ned's New World Order solutions.
Kane says, or get the Wirrell Giroux to replace Dom. He drinks Feltons as well in the Bridewell and can stomach 15 pints a night. Mike Barrett wants the Schneider cut. Kane says, get the fella who was doing the votes on Eurovision. Alexander McGregor, great replacement for Dom.
Do you know what?
Rob's never rated Dom, so he'd sell him.
Do you know what a funny one actually come up on YouTube? The other day? I was on YouTube. A funny Toffee TV. John Meadows Q&A.
John
Christmas-
Meadow. What a
Christmas Q&A with you and Kane's Kane.
John Meadow.
John Meadow.
Oh, that was it. That come
That
up.
was our big moment. That.
John Meadow came in. He was a superstar on X, wasn't he? He was like, he tethered Liverpool fans. He come in and he was just so different than what I expected. I thought he'd be like so cocky and all of Disney, wasn't
Kane had about
Quite
15
quiet.
questions in
Oh,
that.
Kane loved it. But there you go. Yeah, we do know that Budgie is the double of Ped Ray Donovan. Yeah, no worries, the 8s. Yeah, but we have watched it. Right, we're going on. You know, we haven't heard Mark Cody not heard anymore on Everton playing a friendly in Dublin at the moment, but we'll see. We
Sure,
will
people in
see.
Dublin know more about that than we do.
Yeah,
People
they probably know more about that than Everton do, to be honest.
There's people like advertising like for rooms and everything already, like hotel rooms.
You know, they'll know more than what Everton do, I'm sure. But there you go. Right, we're going to be on More Than a Game in 5 minutes discussing how good a former Everton winger was last night in the Europa League final. You don't have to do anything. Stay where you are. Just come over and have a chat over there. You can keep your questions coming over there. Make sure you like and subscribe to Toffee TV. We're aiming for that 100,000. Get us there. Help us. And also subscribe to More Than a Game channel. We'll see you in 4 minutes now. See, just get a drink. Stay where you are. See you in a minute.